back to round four. Round four of the Irish Women's Championships, with Diana playing against Dana Ferguson. 1 second, let me just quickly adjust the round. It's round four. There we go. Okay, so Diana is playing against Dana. I think we're not mathematically eliminated from winning the tournament. A couple of things would need to happen. Not exactly sure how things will work exactly with the tie breaks. But okay, we'll see. Important to keep in mind is Diana needs to win, and we need Tosh to win. So Antonina, I mean, against Alice. We can just look quickly at this game. Maybe first. Oh, this looks like a decent position for Tosh. Yeah, this looks like a decent position for Tosh. Definitely chances to win. That's the first thing we need to happen. We need Tosh to beat Alice. Well, actually, the first thing is we need Diana to beat Dana. But I am optimistic about this one. Hope everybody's doing well in chat. Hey, Raphael, Donal, Dark Poison, Waterford Wizard. Who else is here? Stella as well. Hey, Stella, how are you doing? Yeah, so let's see how things go. Actually, I have the stream open. It's making my computer lag. Not a good idea. Okay, anyway, let's see what we can do here in this game. Diana didn't want to. We looked a little bit at preparing a Sicilian, maybe thinking of playing the Rouser, but Diana thought, okay, not gonna probably get a huge opening advantage anyway. Halen Procles. So she thought, let's go with the Collie, but then apparently that didn't happen. Let me just quickly see what happened. Okay, so her opponent played d5, and then Diana played c4. I'm surprised. usually she doesn't do this. She would play like here, this kind of Poly system, Poly Zucker-Tord system. That's her standard setup that she wanted to go for this game. But apparently she decided on the board that she wanted to do something else. We didn't really prep that much. Another thing her opponent actually plays that we thought might be exploitable is this one, interestingly enough. This is something her opponent plays. It's called the Mexican defense. I've never seen it before, actually. And after this, her opponent had one game where she played e5, and this is pretty exploitable, I think. So d5, and then the knight has to drop back to a square. That's not so great. So yeah, that would have been nice, but I guess Diana didn't want to. Well, Diana said she didn't want to risk preparing this stuff and then her opponent playing something like d5 instead. There are a couple better lines in this Mexican defense. So she didn't want to go into that because she didn't know it at all. And so we ended up deciding just play normal moves. Oh, thank you so much, Waterford.
12,345,679 is now a darling.
Thank you so much, Waterford Wizard, for giving us up to Stella. Welcome, Stella. You're now officially a darling. I mean, you were a darling before, but now you're in the sub club as well, which is nice. Nice to have you. Okay, so Anyway, what was played was symmetrical, kind of transitioning into Queen's Gambit declined, and our opponent played a weird move here, Bishop d6. I'm not sure why. Like, I guess she doesn't really play these positions, but Bishop d6 is not a good move. Bishop d6, afterwards White can play Bishop g5, and then, I mean, you'd almost have to go back. So I don't know why she played that particular move. It's a bit strange. Maybe she hoped to induce c5, which is not a great move to play usually, as White in these positions. And then if you can get like here, if you make White play c5 and then you drop back, I think it's fine. I think that's actually a good structure for Black. But of course, Diana didn't do that. She played normally, put the bishop on g5. And yeah, our opponent did actually just go back. Bit strange. Bit strange for sure. I guess another move you could play is c6, and then you know, you can later play knight d7, and maybe queen c7. That would have been maybe the more elegant solution, but okay, her opponent just goes back. Not exactly sure how bad this is, but it can't be good. Like, it can't be the right move for Black, just going back and forth. Why is opponent taking so long to move? Well, actually, Dark Poison, I think, I don't know. I think she decided to play something a little bit different from what she normally plays. I think she played g6 one time here, but I think she didn't maybe want to get into a King's Indian against Diana, who already had a great game against Tosh in the King's Indian. So yeah, this is what she went into. So her opponent is down to 1 hour 12 minutes. Diana 1 hour 16 minutes. Diana is also not used to these positions, by the way. This is not something Diana usually plays. The c4. Hey Stella. Hope you're good. The c4 is not something Diana usually plays. Usually she has the setup with knight on d2 and pawn on c3. Triangle setup. Or actually pawn on b3 maybe, and bishop here. So a little bit different from what she normally plays, but definitely solid. Her opponent could sort of play into QGD structures, just down a move. I mean, she's always going to be down a move now. Yeah, I mean, Diana did have a good game against the King's Indian. Okay, so bishop d3, and then pretty standard to capture after the bishop moves. I'm not sure exactly how things changed, because usually you would have this position with c6 already played. So if you just imagine for a second that the pawn is on c6, and then you capture, and then you play b5, and then you get an additional move against the bishop, and then you play bishop b7. That would be a pretty standard plan. Doesn't work here because, well, I mean, you can't play b5 because, you know, the pawn isn't on c6 yet. So I don't like what Black did here out of the opening. And yeah, you gifted her the sub, Waterford Wizard. You got the correct person. Yeah, it's losing a tempo for the opponent. Although, yeah, exactly, I was about to point out, there are other plans than this one. And if you play c5, that's pretty much regaining the tempo, you could say, because it doesn't matter if you have the pawn on c6 and then play c5, or if you play c5 right away. So that, in a sense, saves the tempo compared to the other 9. This is a line as well. So basically, we transposed back into a line that is known. I think this is still good for White. I think just castles. But at least Black has a different plan now. Yeah. Black doesn't maybe play the most standard way here. But okay, I think this is fine. Definitely fine. I think just castles. You could take the pawn, I guess. And if black trades, it would be quite decent. And then you can castle here, or maybe even play, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too early for king e2. But let's say this would happen. Let's say takes, and then take here. Of course, black doesn't have to trade queens. I'm just saying if black did trade queens here, you could maybe think of king e2. You don't need to castle necessarily because you have control of this diagonal and there's no annoying knight checks. Has to be debated at least. Like castling would still be fine probably, but that might be a way to get a slight advantage for an endgame. White position is much favorable in my opinion as black's development is poor, and it's also hard for black to get pieces in good squares. Yeah, well, to some extent, sure. I think black can play b6 here, and have the standard UGD development, but they're definitely a bit behind in development. I'm not sure exactly how you could exploit this with white. Maybe setup is just too solid for now to do anything concrete. Yeah, thanks for the cheering. Bright star shine. Yeah, I can definitely use all the support right now. Actually, let me just quickly try something. If I make a move, am I on the right board? Let me see. No, I'm not, of course not. I'm on the wrong board to analyze. So let me swap those around for a second. Okay, so this one is the main board now. Let me just try if it works. Okay, there we go. So this one is the main board. I was sort of messing them up. Okay, let's see. Diana's thinking. She's definitely not really used to these positions, so I wouldn't be surprised if she thinks a little bit longer at times. Although there are many options here. I think generally you can play different things here. I think you can take, you can take, sorry. You can castle. You can play rook c1 probably. I think this is not necessarily a critical position, so maybe even queen e2. So because in these d4 positions, there's usually a variety of moves you can play. I'm not a big fan of taking too much time in the opening because it's going to get you into different looking positions, but it's not going to get you into like trouble if you take with the wrong order, or you know, you have some choice here. Multiple moves that are solid. But okay, let's maybe check on some of the other games, because the other games are actually relevant to us this time around. So let's look at Diana's game for a second. Oh, that's unfortunate, because I think we would have liked Brenda to win for the Buchholz scores, but actually Brenda's already lost against Diana, unfortunately. Which means actually Diana is going to end up on 3 points. Good result for her. Although you could say that she only played Alice from the really strong players. She only played Alice out of Diana, Alice, and Tosh. so she dodged the stronger opponents. But Brenda, okay, I mean, we would need a little miracle here. She's just down a piece and a pawn. Well, not a pawn, but like this a-pawn is strong. So yeah, not optimal for sure. Also this bishop's, I mean, okay, nothing's good here for black. At the Buchholz scores, it's a method of tie breaks, resolving tie breaks, and it means you add up all the points of the points. You add up all the points of your opponents, and then there's also the Sonneborn-Berger scores, which means you add up all the points of the people you won against, and then add half of the points of the opponents you drew against. That would be the Sonneborn-Berger score, and the Buchholz score is just all the points of the people you played against. And because Alice played against Diana in the first round, she would tend to have a better Buchholz score than, actually also a Sonneborn-Berger score than Diana. Meanwhile, Diana would have a better Buchholz score than Antonina, because Antonina or Tosh played against Nandita, who lost all her games so far and is probably going to lose again. You can just quickly look at this game, which would mean that as long as Diana wins, she would at least come in second. So that would be good at least. And actually, this is why this tournament's also a little bit silly, because this tournament format, I mean, because it's only 4 rounds, Swiss system, so a lot depends on the luck of the draw here. For example, Diana is going to end up on 3 points if she beats Brenda, which is very likely because Brenda is like maybe 700 rated or so. Meanwhile, Tosh played against Diana and against Alice. So if she loses here against Alice, she might end up on only 2 points and finish behind Diana, which, you know, a bit of an unfair result, you might say. Well, definitely more rounds would have enabled you to have fairer results if everybody, at least the top players, get to play each other. Like every one of the better players gets to play all the other good players. So Diana, for example, she has the hardest road of all of them, I would say. Well, actually, I guess Alice and Diana both played against the hardest opponents, because Diana played against Tosh and against Alice and against Dana, and Alice played against Tosh and Dana and Diana. So both of them played against the following, or the next best players, basically. And yeah, if we had more rounds, then obviously more or less would depend on luck of the draw, on who plays who. But okay, so back to the game. My voice is really suffering now. I've been talking too much the last couple of days, or I guess yesterday and today. My throat is not used to that. So Diana's still thinking after c5, which, I mean, yeah, as I said, I don't really like that much. I think she can play takes, she can play castles, she can play queen e2, she can play all the normal moves, rook c1 even. There's hardly any move that would deserve a 10-minute think here. You would need to be planning something very crazy for that to make sense, and I don't think there's ever anything crazy here. That's not also bad. But okay. she likes her time trouble anyway. So we'll see what she comes out with. It's gotta be a struggle to commentate for for 3 hours if we take so long in this position. Let's just show some lines on the board, I guess. Queen d1, rook d1, and I think you can either take or play knight d7. Take first, then I mean white could do this and give black double pawns, but I don't think it's very good because black would have the bishop pair. It wouldn't really help white develop. Okay, I think here you can think about castles. I think you can think about king e2. I'm personally always a fan of these moves that keep the king in the center. And even if all the pieces are on the board except the queen, I think in this particular position that's okay because this bishop controls this diagonal towards the king. So you wouldn't really get in trouble. You'd have the king in the center for any endgames. So I like that better. And actually I like this variation. Her opponent already really messed up in endgames against Alice. She was completely winning against Alice, actually. Dana was in round 2. She was +9, I think. And then, yeah, she hung a piece, and then she got into a drawn endgame, and then she lost that somehow. Definitely unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate how that happened. Because if you think about it, Diana only had to play Alice as black, no less, in round 3 because Alice barely won that game that she should never have won. Otherwise, she would have played Dana with black and Alice with white probably in the last round, if at all. And that would have been, I mean, obviously much better chances for her. Although, I mean, she did have a good position against Alice anyway, but just slightly missed something, unfortunately, in the last round. But okay, still chances, as I said, to win the tournament. Still some chances. And yeah. Let's see if the game is already over here. It's not quite over, and they're still playing. But of course, white being up a piece, and yeah, shouldn't be great. Let's see what happened maybe in this game. d4 opening. Was it a London? I didn't really pay attention. Not a London, but the system with bishop f4 later while the pawn's on c4. Oh, and she takes with the f pawn, which, I mean, is not the right move, but I guess it's designed to play for some tricks. Oh, and then her opponent just hangs a piece, unfortunately. Yeah, she undermines her own knight here. She gives up defense of the knight and invites a piece in to attack it. So after e5, you not only is this knight no longer defended, but you're also inviting the bishop in there to attack it. This bishop is attacked, and yeah. So, I mean, what could you have tried here? The problem is that after takes, you're attacking the rook, and the rook can't go to b8 because it's hanging. Why can't it go to a6? Rook a6. Because the queen can take and protect, of course. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I missed something tactically there. Unfortunate. So she was down a piece, and yeah, from there on, there's not going to be any hope anymore, unfortunately. But here, okay, Tosh, Tosh seems to be winning against Alice. Yeah, I mean, you can see taking with the f-pawn, like, it's a bit of a, it's like playing for somewhat cheap tricks, I guess. You want an attack, but you're undermining the defense of your e-pawn, so it's not objectively the right thing to do, and it probably loses her advantage. Okay, so Tosh seems to be doing really well against Alice. It's really sad to see, actually. Like, Alice has not been playing great this tournament, but yeah, she's definitely not been playing great. I would say if she wins this, it's slightly, I don't know, it doesn't have the best taste, doesn't leave the best taste. Like, but okay, we'll have to see if she even can, if she even would win it in tie breaks, or if actually Diana or Tosh would go in front of her. I'm not exactly sure what kind of tiebreak system they use, so we'll just have to see that later. But also, if you think about it, it shows sort of the weakness of a system with a Swiss tournament where you only have 4 rounds, because I mean, very likely or potentially 3 players are going to finish on 3 points, and you're going to have a 3-way tie decided by. Well, actually, I don't know if there's maybe tie-break games. I don't know. Like, I don't actually know anything about how this tournament works. Let me maybe just research this. Maybe it says it somewhere. Or if anybody has any info, feel free to share it in chat. Just gonna look real quick on chess results if they have the tournament format there, or the tiebreak rules rather. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere. Oh, so head-to-head is first. Better number of wins is second. And then Buchholz rating. But actually, this is a default setting on chess results. So actually, I don't know how the thing's going to be decided. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what happens. And it's only relevant anyway if Tosh beats Alice and Diana beats Dana. Although I guess you could say that it's relevant in any case, because for Tosh might win the tournament then if she wins. So actually, I believe that maybe Tosh would win the tournament if Diana draws or loses and she beats Alice, which would be a very funny result if we're going to be honest. After the way the tournament went. But yeah, okay. Yeah, this position came from Petrov. That position Tosh is playing came from Petrov. Actually, am I in the wrong window again? Yes, I am. Sorry about that. I'll just put the right game on the right board and see if Diana has made a move. Okay, she ended up castling. Good move, I think. Right move. Well, I mean, I say right move. As I said, like, I think taking would have been just as good. I think, actually, maybe I would have even preferred taking, because I think, as I said, Dana did show some weaknesses in endgames, and I think Diana's intuitive style would sort of be good there. Yeah. Well, actually, Waterford Wizard, it doesn't quite work like that. So because if Alice loses to Tosh, then they would be three-way tied at 3 points, which means that Diana will have beaten Tosh, Tosh will have beaten Alice, and Alice would have beaten Diana. So it sort of goes in a circle. So the head-to-head wouldn't be relevant anymore. So it would go to the next rating. I was saying though that if Tosh beats Alice and Diana draws against Dana or loses against Dana, then Alice wouldn't win anymore. Actually, though, because if Diana loses, then Dana would be at the top as well in the head-to-head. So, and Alice did beat Dana, but Tosh didn't play against Dana, so still Tosh would win the tournament. Actually, so if Tosh wins and Diana doesn't win, then Tosh wins the tournament, I think. So that's just my guess. If provided the information on test results is correct and head-to-head is actually the deciding factor, which we don't know for sure. So yeah, definitely some confusion about the ratings, the rating systems here, or the point systems, the ranking systems here. I really like these kinds of thought experiments, like what needs to happen for which person to win. But of course, it's a bit of idle speculation if we don't actually know what the rule to break ties would be. So I guess we can maybe let off that in the end. And also, I mean, they have to do it first. So let's just jump back to the Tosh game real quick. Okay, I mean, I like her position. She could, well, I was thinking at first bishop e3, but maybe then there's rook e2. So maybe bishop e1 and something, or just take on b7. Yeah, so those are kind of the options, I guess. Or maybe even rook f1. This rook I guess to f1, also an option. I think Alice, let's maybe go through the game real quick. I think Alice didn't play this very well because I think Alice just wanted to trade into, I think she was just like, okay, let's trade pieces and get into an endgame, and let's get pieces off the board and make a draw. But I think she sort of misevaluated this, and this seems quite bad for her. This seems quite bad. Like, you're gonna lose a pawn at some stage. Maybe you're even gonna have to trade off this rook first, and I don't think that's gonna be very pleasant. Like, rook's gonna come in. You can even maybe like, if you don't take, you probably have to take rook here takes, and then this pawn is still hanging. Rook is coming to f7. You have maybe some tricks at some stage that even attacks against the king might work. So yeah, this is so complicated. A sensible way would be 2 points for a win, 1 for a loss, plus an extra half for winning with black. Well, that would be something. I guess then people would actually want black, maybe. Oh, sugar. Oh, did I ruin the setup? No, okay. Yeah, maybe then people would actually want black, because I think black's better than half a point, especially at a level that's like not super GM. So okay, so Dana plays queen to a5, which I don't like. This is a move in some positions, in some QGD positions, well, for example, like Cambridge Springs and stuff like that. And the idea is like you can sometimes get positions, but this is like a completely different position. So I'm not sure what Queen A5 is supposed to do here, because you're not even, I guess you're threatening to take and then you can't take back with the knight right away. So that might be a point. You might call that a point of the move, but I don't know exactly what the idea of Queen A5 is. Also, you're undefending this bishop with this, so what if you play E5? Yeah, Queen A5 is a very strange move. Very strange move. And I think if you can play D5 here, I'm not sure if you can. I mean, if you can say, I mean, if knight takes, you can play knight takes, I guess, and bishop takes here. You take, and I don't know, but it doesn't seem like that's something. This C5 pawn is something that black play, like C5 is something that black plays to trade it off, right? Black is saying, okay, maybe take me, so I can develop my bishop, or I'll get your center pawn, and you're gonna have to either take an isolated pawn or take with your knight, and then you won't have a strong center anymore. But if you play Queen A5, you are losing some of these ideas, and then I think this would be good. Hey, go cool. We were just theory crafting a little bit about yeah, if we still have winning chances, or who still has chances to win the tournament. It's not entirely clear, all the tiebreak rules, but if it's head-to-head first, then Alice might lose the win, like might not win the tournament, because she's currently losing to Antonina Tosh, and that then actually Alice would have to rely on Diana winning against Dana, which would then maybe mean that Alice wins again. so that's kind of what we were thinking. I guess this isn't prep. You mean Diana's game? Yeah, Diana's game, this is definitely not prep. I think she's basically out of prep on move 3 because she plays c4 here. I'm not sure why she did that. She wanted to play Akali, but I guess she just played c4 for... I don't know why exactly she played c4. But yeah, she was planning to play Akali and changed plans. She was like, okay, let's play c4. I mean, she did mention earlier, like, during prep, I don't really want to prep, she said, because we were looking at some Sicilians, like a Rouser or something like that. But she said, okay, I'm not going to get a huge advantage out of the opening anyway, probably, so I might as well play something I know. But then she ended up not playing something she knows, but black also made a really weird move here. Bishop d6. Which Diana responded to with bishop g5, and then bishop e7. So kind of a weird loss of a tempo. And then she played c5, basically making up for losing this tempo to play c6. But okay, Diana took some time, actually 12 minutes she took, over 12 minutes, and then castled. And her opponent played queen a5, which seems like a strange move to me. I don't quite get it. It doesn't really make sense once the king is castled. Like, you're not even having any ideas of like these things you sometimes have in like the Cambridge Spring, and not Cambridge Springs. What's it called? Is it Cambridge Springs? Go cool. Is that what it's called? The Queen A5 line? I think it is, isn't it? Cambridge Springs variation. You're kind of losing the point of that move. So yeah, maybe it is Cambridge Springs. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I'm pretty bad with opening names, unfortunately. Yeah, Alice is definitely worse. And we can just look back to her game real quick. Sort of rooting against her a little bit, because then at least Diana could come in tied for first. at least on points, tied on points. Okay, Tosh still hasn't moved. I mean, I think you can just take the pawn, but I think rook f1 is also good. Looks good to me, at least. Queen a5 here seems strange. Yeah, definitely. Okay, she plays bishop e1, and we're looking at that for a second earlier. The nice thing is rook can't go to f7 and sort of threaten these things once the queen takes, because, you know, the queen is covering f7. So the rook's probably going to have to go to some slightly awkward square. If it goes here, it just gets trapped, I think. So you can't do that either. So where does the rook go? Maybe just back. And then you can take, I imagine. I mean, you're gonna have to be careful, but as long as you keep your queen centralized, and then maybe you can play this kind of a thing at some point, and you should be safe, I think. And then you're just up a pawn. It's still heavy pieces and opposite color bishops, so you can maybe even mobilize an attack, because, wait, it's actually not opposite color bishops, it's the same color bishops. What am I talking about? But yeah. The other, Diana Booker has 2 points, yeah. She's gonna be at 3 points as well. Actually, that's true. She is gonna have the worst tie breaks of all, because she didn't win against any of the top players. She only played Alice, but she didn't play Diana or Antonina. She's certain to win, yes, that's true. But I don't think she can win the tournament, because she lost to Alice and she's played it against the weakest field. And Alice already has 3 points, so she can't overtake Alice. I think no matter what happens, she can't win the tournament. Although, I mean, I said at the start of the tournament that Diana is probably a dark horse. Like, she's gonna maybe ruin some tournaments. And she ended up getting really... Well, I mean, I meant the top players, Coco. Like, it's, I guess, I think there's pretty clearly 3 or 4 top players. Maybe Dana belongs in there. But it's certainly Tosh, Diana, and Alice. So we definitely have to start rooting for Alice to lose. Definitely rooting for Alice to lose. That gives us some chances. We're also mad at Alice for beating us, so there you go. No, I'm kidding to some extent. But of course, we do have to hope Alice loses, because even though we're not certain about the tiebreak rules, that's definitely the only way that Diana has a chance in the tournament standings to win. That Alice has to lose. So yeah, I know. Gotta be diplomatic on stream. Anyway, so she's still thinking. Alice also thinking about what to do here after bishop e1. Not entirely clear to me what reasons you have for playing. The other Diana is going to beef up Alice's tiebreaks. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I think that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I think Alice got so lucky in so many ways in this tournament. She played Dana. She was completely lost against Dana. She won that somehow. She was in trouble against Diana as well. And then against Diana missed like one tactic after an opening that went pretty well. So Alice definitely, if she wins this event, she can thank her lucky stars, because she had the run of a lifetime in this tournament. When it comes to things that she couldn't necessarily control too well, because she got Diana as a draw. There's not really anything that Antonina or Diana could have done short of like winning against Alice, because if they end up on the same score, all of them, it's just the first round opponent that determines their scores or their standings. And Tosh played against Nandita, which is the worst opponent to have for tiebreak scores. And Diana played against Brenda, which is the second worst opponent. And Alice played against Diana, which is the best first round draw, as long as you win the game. So, yeah. Oh, Diana's from half German. Yeah, I heard that before. Yeah. She's also a darling, I think, or she was at least. She comes into the stream sometimes and she participates in arenas from time to time. I think I've played her before in one of those. Yeah, she's definitely. I mean, she's quite young. I'm not exactly sure how old she is right now, but she's quite young. She is like has a decent rating on Lichess. Yeah, definitely an up and coming player. I think sort of the competition in Irish juniors is getting a little bit tougher. Like Trisha is coming along nicely. Dana also seems to be quite solid. I think she's about to like reach 1800 FIDE at some point soon, probably, on the way she's been playing. So yeah, really becoming a chess nation, Ireland. But okay, let's look at what Diana did, the main star of the show here. Okay, trying some tactics. Not sure if that was entirely necessary, if I'm being honest. I mean, well, I mean, I guess if this was to happen, you would win a pawn, but I guess Black can just take here first. Can't they? I think so. If Black takes here first, then I guess check, and you're gonna leave Black with double pawns. So maybe that's just good enough. Maybe that's just an achievement, and that's all Diana wanted. Also, you're gonna have some maybe annoying pressure if. I mean, you definitely have a development edge as well. I like how this game is looking. But okay. Maybe also actually Black just has this, which is maybe much more simple. Yeah, I think that's actually simpler, and also just more solid. You're going to be overprotecting this knight, and yeah. So maybe a bit hasty. Maybe Diana got a bit trying to be a bit too tactical here. Maybe I think. I mean, we didn't really analyze it too closely, but I think d5 might have been better. And takes. I guess I don't know. You take with the knight. Well, I guess actually it doesn't maybe really matter because they have to take here anyway. Just can't take here because then you would lose a pawn. Just the computer think. Oh, computer thinks this is really good after knight takes. Okay. I guess you're winning a pawn, actually. Yeah, so this would have been nice. Then you can play this, even maybe to stop this kind of thing. So yeah, actually d5. d5 looked good, I guess. But okay, she went with something else. Let's refresh for a second. Her opponent's thinking. She didn't play knight bd7 instantly, which is good for us. The more time she takes, the better. And also, yeah, I think the less likely she is to play that move. She's maybe just blanking and thinks she has to take or something. Or like takes here and then go into this kind of thing. Although I guess maybe you could even, maybe you don't have to take. Maybe black could also do something like this. And then take with, oh no, actually you can't because this would be unpleasant maybe. You're probably gonna get, I mean you're definitely in danger of getting mated somehow. Because the queen doesn't have this square to block. So this looks a little bit dodgy. No activity, no nothing for black. So don't want to go into this, I would suppose. Yeah, maybe knight bd7 is just by far the best move. Although I guess maybe knight takes bishop here, and you are protecting this indirectly, and maybe there's no. I was thinking maybe this after. But I guess it comes with tempo, and you don't want to do that. Maybe something like this. Now you're still threatening this. I have ideas of these things. Things to do, things to think about. Did Tosh decide what to do? No, she's still thinking. Tosh is still thinking. I mean, I guess you take the pawn here, don't you? I'm guessing you take the pawn. Then rook here doesn't really like, I mean, it opens up. Maybe you don't want to take that particular pawn actually. So here, and maybe just queen comes back. It's not what I would call a scary attack, especially with this bishop being as bad as it is. You're going to have this move at some point, but it's only really going to help white get to the square they want to go. Yeah, I think Alice did seem to have that kind of mindset that let's just trade off pieces, maybe playing a bit carelessly. Yeah, Evia, that is a nice name. It looks nice at least. I don't actually know how to pronounce it, so I can't tell if it also sounds beautiful, but it does look like a very nice name. I agree. He's actually a good friend of Diana's as well. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Computer wants queen takes b7. Not surprised. For a second there, the broadcast was worrying me. It showed me a bishop on b6. I think it was a broadcast problem. Diana played, or actually, well, I guess her opponent played knight takes e4. Bishop takes, and now, well, now she's gonna have to decide what to do. I was thinking maybe queen c2 as a move, but actually maybe this sort of ruins the whole idea of the move, because you're gonna have to take it then, unless you want to give up the exchange. Well, actually, hold on, never mind. Here you can take here, and then takes would be good for white. But never mind. So yeah, queen c2 looks good to me. Trade everything on c5. Well, that may be simpler, but I don't know. I think you also have the development edge after queen c2, because takes, and then you actually black still has to do something about this pawn. You're gonna get another move in that you kind of want to play, and then the development edge really becomes noticeable, because knight c6 isn't even possible now. Yeah, and also you're gonna have some aggressive ideas. Not that they should probably do much, but after this, you can have ideas like these in the position. I don't know, I like those positions quite a bit, I think. No, I guess queen d3 is the same idea. I don't see necessarily a difference between them. I don't know, it just seems nicer on c2. That's the only thing I can say. It just looks better. The point is also the knight can't really retreat, because the bishop's covering all the squares. So I guess this would be the only square, and then you're gonna give her double pawns, and from your queen here, you're gonna do some nasty things. Probably. She's gonna have to play f5, and your knight's gonna jump in, and this is not gonna end well. For the pronunciation, I tried Google Translate, but to no avail. Oh, really? I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look at that, Faster Wyverns. I'm actually interested. Diana, I've never asked Diana actually about how her last name is pronounced. She's talked about her plenty of times and always uses her first name, naturally, because they're friends. So I've never actually heard her last word being her last name being spoken aloud. Okay, thank you, Pastor Wyverns. I'm gonna copy that and watch it later, or maybe we can watch it now. Actually, no, I don't want to leak Facebook information, so maybe let's not do that. I'll just open a notepad to keep it. Okay, so, whoa, what is that move? Bishop h4. Interesting. Huh. I mean, okay. Not a fan. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. That seems like you're costing yourself some tempi there. Although, I mean, the knight's maybe slightly awkward still. But actually, what if black plays b6, and then you attack the knight, but then the knight gets defended by the bishop. So I'm not sure about this move. Not so sure about this. But okay, should probably still be an okay position. Still a good position, I guess. Yeah, it looks a little bit passive, but okay. I mean, she's keeping the bishop pair. That can't be such a bad thing. If Luke was here to commentate, he would probably love this move. I'm maybe a little bit more skeptical, but okay. I mean, can't be so bad. I just liked the other idea a lot, so maybe I'm biased. That's actually a very interesting phenomenon in chess, and I guess not only in chess, but especially in chess. It becomes very obvious the way you get attached to ideas. I have this when I play games, or even when I do tactics. Somehow I will see one move that appeals to me, and then I will maybe not quite see how it fully works, or maybe I'll find something that is critical, and maybe where it's not that great. But then eventually I will often come back to the move and be like, actually, this is quite good. Let's just play it. And then often it turns out not to be so good. And even short of doing that, I think sometimes we take a lot of time to try to make these ideas that just come into our mind intuitively work, even though they don't really. Like, we probably know on some level that we refuted the idea, but then we can't quite let it go. At least that's how it is for me. Yeah. So now her opponent's thinking again. 45 minutes left. We're ahead on time still, which is always good to see for Diana. She is a bit of a time trouble addict, so whenever she's up on the clock, that's something we can be decently happy about. Let's just check back on Tosh's game. Okay, she did take the pawn. Lovely. I think that's definitely, the critical try. You want to make that work. Rook b8, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to take the pawn on a7. You could think of playing queen a6. You could think of playing queen d5. I think queen d5 makes a lot more sense to me, personally. Yeah, queen d5 is looking good to me, at least. Like, this bishop's bad, we're up a pawn. This bishop's like not even bad, it's like really bad. Not even just bad, it's like very bad. Even if the bishop should get like to g5 with check, I don't think we want to trade the bishop off. I think we want to just move our king to b1. Yeah, queen d5, maybe bishop g4, bishop g5, king b1, and then we're gonna push some pawns or something, because this is nice. The bishop already controls h4, which enables h4 despite the two pieces being lined up. You don't even need to play g3 first, so just h4 I think is maybe a plan in the near future. Also, you would be hanging this pawn if you do it too quickly. I was thinking maybe here and here, but I think you have good options here as white. I think white should be much better. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's, I don't think it's maybe necessarily winning just yet, but yeah. I'm actually pro at, wait, what are you saying? This lull, seeing the trap move, looking for something that works, and then just winding back up in the trap. Yeah, that's that's another thing. Surely we see a move and then we forget about it. Like, yeah, that definitely happens. It's a bit scary. Well, I'm not sure if it's that scary, really. If you think about it, we have our dark square bishop still. We can play this sort of structure if we have to. So, you know, I think it's okay. I think it's important that this bishop's really, really bad. Like, it is tied to the defense of this pawn, but okay. So Alice goes for the brute force approach, but I don't think this is actually. I don't think brute force is her friend. I think you just play b3. You're gonna play c4 if necessary. You can bring your bishop back to defend. You're gonna play king b1 at some point if they want to attack on the a file. And then these pawns are gonna run up the board and make this black king really uncomfortable. It doesn't even have any squares right now. This is always something you need to look out for as well. Maybe you can set up some tactics on h7 when the square is being controlled, especially even more so if the queen could get here and control these squares. So yeah, still no game has finished, which is interesting. Or maybe they have, but they didn't update it on the feed yet. Brenda and Diana are still playing. Brenda still down a piece. Diana's pawn is promoting. Or, well, it's not promoting yet, but soon enough. How about we hope that Diana does something, you know, like this, just hangs a rook maybe. Wouldn't be so bad. Maybe Brenda could win a game. Because, for context, I'm saying this because Diana has played against Brenda, so Brenda winning would be good for her tie breaks, whereas Diana winning would be good for Alice's tie breaks, which we want to avoid. Anything that's good for Alice is bad for us at this point in our lives. So yeah. How about this game, Polly? This is a bit of a mess. Interesting position. Black has a lot of space on the queen side. Both light square bishops are a bit bad, but can be maybe rerouted. Although the the light square bishop for black will be bad even after it's rerouted, while white's light square bishop at least can maybe come to c2 and then support this kind of advance. Yeah, definitely. If Alice doesn't lose this one, she's been incredibly lucky this tournament. She's been very lucky. The game against Diana was maybe not so lucky. She was a strong favorite, and Diana messed up at some point. But she wasn't in a good position there, and then she was completely lost against Dana. And then Diana had a good opening against her, but completely just missed a tactic. And then against Tosh, now she's down a pawn and has this really bad bishop. Nobody's happy with that. So Elizabeth against Nandita. We're getting cute here. What is this? Wow, the tactics. Pinning the queen. That's actually kind of cute, don't you think? So the point is, we can't take the knight like this, because black's going to take the queen, and the queen isn't defended, and if we take, then the knight's going to take and get itself to safety. So I wonder, like, how far had she planned this? Kind of cute. On the bottom board. But yeah, okay. Let's look back at Diana's game. Okay, so her opponent just played knight bd7. Maybe she would have been well advised to play that move one move earlier, but okay. This construction still stands. This c5 d4 construction still hasn't been touched, which is interesting. Definitely interesting. So now, now queen c2 isn't. Hey Halvard, how are you doing? So now queen c2 isn't necessarily so good anymore, because knight can drop back to this square now without the threat of doubling the pawns. Yeah, right, you see some commentary. Well, we're still a bit unsure about what's happening. Well, it didn't start out, I mean, I can show you how it started out. It wasn't exactly the most classic way. Also, Diana played c4, which is, you know, a bit unusual for her. She said she would want to play the Kale, but didn't end up doing so. And her opponent played a weird move, bishop d6 and bishop back to e7. Very strange stuff. And then she ended up playing c5. I think here we had d5 maybe. Yeah, bishop d6 is strange. Here we had e5 maybe. Which might have been good. So we were thinking d5, and if knight takes, well, I don't know, some lines anyway. Not exactly sure which was the best, but something like this, and then yes, queen takes, and yeah, rook can't move, bishop can't really develop. If this line would have come on, would have been great. Not sure what black could have done here. E takes, it says. Similar problems though, I mean. Bit better, I guess, maybe. Because the knight isn't on this square yet, so you can play this. Okay, but okay, we're getting carried away in the past. Bogged down in the past. So this is how the game went, and here we were thinking queen, or I was thinking queen c2. So something like this, or well, if she would have insisted to go back, we could have had this kind of thing. And yeah, of course, this doesn't quite work because we can take here, and we're gonna be up 2 pieces for, and a pawn, I guess, 2 pieces and a pawn for a rook. So no joy. Knight takes f2. Isn't your knight? I guess it's not quite trapped. And I guess at least we can take here and then knight here and push it around a little bit, maybe. I don't know. What does the engine say to this? Oh, knight g5. It's just completely winning. Because it would undermine the square, I guess. And then the knight couldn't drop back there anymore. Which, okay. That's, I guess, hard to see. But, yeah. That's tricky. That's definitely tricky to play knight g5 or knight g5 later and force giving up of this f6 square, the only real square that this knight can escape to. Very cute. But engines find nice moves. But I don't think it was even necessary for this to be good still. Anyway, we're still good here. Oops, I have the engine on. Now, I think our opponent's development looks a little bit awkward. I was thinking last move, I mean, personally I was thinking, I don't know, maybe b6 or, I don't know. But, yeah, her opponent played knight bd7, or knight d7, rather. And it's a bit of an awkward move, right? Because still doesn't really let the bishop go anywhere. The rooks are still not connected. Your development is a bit awkward. If you want to play knight here, then this knight is going to be a little bit out in the cold. White can maybe think of these things. Rook c1. Yeah. So I like our position a lot still. Actually, I quite like White's position. I think Diana's had a good opening here. It's interesting, like last game, she had really quite deep prep against Alice. And everything happened like through preparation. She chose a different line, maybe not the sharpest one, but she got a good position at the opening and then just very quickly missed this tactic. But here, she has a great position of the opening without having even anything, like with no preparation, basically. So interesting how that works sometimes. Although, of course, Alice, opening-wise, especially, has a bit of a different caliber of player. Maybe Alice played a lot of chess this summer. I think she played in Italy. She played in Spain. She played in Dublin. She played at the Irish Championships. Meanwhile, Diana only played one tournament really, and this one now. So, yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, Diana might still be a little bit rusty, whereas Alice definitely fully in practice. Okay, let's go back to Tosh for a second, maybe. Let's see what she's been up to. My voice is really starting to die, by the way. So if I become mute, it might not be technical difficulties. It might just be my throat giving up. Okay, so Alice is rerouting, bringing the different rook to the defense of the pawn. It used to be the queen. The queen went on a bit of a journey. I'm not sure if that's such a great journey she went on, because look what we achieved. I think we made her play b3, we made her play king b1. Both moves that are really going to be necessary anyway at some point. I'm not sure ASMR commentating. Oh, I wish. Just need a microphone, you know? I can do great things with ASMR. I don't know how to do ASMR, so don't kill me. And yeah, basically Tosh was playing moves that make a lot of sense here. Yes, this blockade on the light squares, which is nice. Opening up the dark squares for her bishop. Yeah. It's hard to really find anything for Alice to do, I think. Yeah. Again, she's like pretty lost here. Pretty lost. Like, okay, there's still a game to play here, but like, unless Tosh makes a pretty big mistake here, this should be very difficult for Alice to do anything. You just don't trade bishops. Don't trade bishops. Get your rooks active. You know, put your pieces on good squares. Maybe push those kingside pawns. And Alice will have to try to make something happen on the kingside, but it's really not realistic. You're just gonna have these two rooks, and this bishop can't really participate. I mean, maybe at some stage it could dream of coming in here, but like, as soon as you move your rook, your pawn is falling, unless you do something like this. I guess this could be kind of clever, maybe. Although you might also always have to be careful of like back rank stuff at some moment. For example, rook d7. You can just play bishop bishop c3, I guess, and then this pawn is hanging. And if you play this, I don't know. But anyway, this bishop still won't be participating in the attack, and you have this nice wall of pawns. This is a good structure. Just need to be careful that you don't hang this pawn to some pin tactics. That would be unpleasant. But otherwise, I think you're doing super well here as white, and you should be taking the point. And Tosh should be very motivated here, because if she's keeping track, and okay, actually I shouldn't be saying that because I don't know what the tiebreak rules are. The tiebreak rules on chess results seem to indicate that head-to-head comes first, which would mean that if Tosh beats Alice, she wins the tournament, as long as Diana doesn't beat Dana. And if Diana does beat Dana, then it becomes a three-way tie between Tosh, Alice, and Dana. And if Dana wins, which, I mean, we don't even like to talk about that, but if Dana wins, then it would be a three-way tie. Well, actually, Diana Booker also has 3 points. So actually it could be like half the field finishing on 3 points, which, you know, a little bit silly for this type of tournament. It could actually, because Diana is going to win. Diana, if she wins, she's going to be on 3 points. Diana is going to be on 3 points. Tosh is going to be on 3 points, and Alice would also be on 3 points. So 4 players out of the 10 would be on 3 points, which is just a little bit of the weakness of this type of 4-round tournament. it's just going to happen that you get ridiculous tie breaks, and it won't really say that much about their tournament performances if that's how it turns out. If it's just going to be solved on tie breaks like this with 4 people having 3 points after 4 rounds. So yeah, not the greatest system they have there for the Irish Championships, Irish Women's Championships, I should say. I guess it's a bit sad that they don't think that they deserve a little more than 4 rounds. So maybe we should write some letters. I don't know. That's become activists in the Irish Chess Union. Although I guess it might have been better if there had at least been more players, or actually it might have been even worse with more players, because is the article about tie breaks, or what does it say? The tiebreak rules? No, more rounds would mean everybody playing everybody else, or I mean, at least playing more different people. I'm certainly not a unionist. Okay. We gotta avoid the IRA talk here. Now that Diana's gone, you can bring that back when she's there. But I feel unqualified to or not unqualified, but rather doesn't seem like it's my place to comment on Irish matters. Maybe I need to become a citizen or something. Anyway, okay, back to Diana's game. And her opponent is just going back, playing, I don't know. I think this is a bit questionable what she's doing. Yeah, so Diana's gonna give her double pawns in the end. She fought so hard. Well, I mean, I guess you could take with the queen, but I think then it's really gonna get pointed out that your queen doesn't belong here. I think you're really gonna suffer if you take with the queen, maybe. Yeah, so I think you need to take with the knight. You need to accept these double pawns. But actually, hold on a second, because are you maybe even losing some material here, and then queen c2? I guess you're not threatening things like this quickly enough. I mean, maybe f5 and here. But this definitely looks unpleasant. Okay, so what does it say, Lamprocles? What? I mean, I guess I can just click on it as well. Let's see what it says. Irish Championships. I guess this is a different tournament though, but maybe the same rules apply. Competition terms, tiebreak. Okay. Exactly 2 players tie. The title shall be awarded to the winner of their individual game, so head-to-head first. If their individual game was drawn, or if they did not play each other, there shall be a playoff. Oh, interesting. 2-game rapid match. Oh, but I guess we can't have that anyway, at least not with Diana involved. We can have head-to-head between... Oh, actually, no, we can't have that at all, because if Tosh wins, they're going to be on 3 points, and at least Diana Burkert would also be on 3 points, even if Diana and Dana draw. So, okay. If 3 or more players tie, then the title shall be awarded to the player, if any, who achieved the greater score in games amongst the tied players than could be achieved by any other tied player under any set of results of unplayed games. I mean, that's slightly complicated. So it only matters if they actually played. Otherwise, they assume that they would have won their games. So actually, that's not going to produce a result because nobody lost that many games. Let's just for a moment assume that Diana wins. Let's assume Diana wins. Tosh wins. That means 4 people would be at 3 points. Diana, Tosh, Alice, and Diana, which would leave us at a weird state because Tosh beat Alice, Alice beat Diana and Diana, but lost to Tosh. So Alice has a score of 2 out of 3. Diana beat Tosh and didn't play against Diana, so Diana would also have a score of 2 out of 3. Tosh played against Diana and lost, which means she also has a max score of 2 out of 3, so that wouldn't get us anywhere. So next category. If step 2A does not determine a champion, there shall be a 2 playoff game rapid match between the 2 players. Even if one of these players won the individual game between the 2 who achieved the highest scores in games amongst the tied players, counting all unplayed games as draws. Okay, so there could be a playoff, which would be fun. That would be fun. So who would that be? Counting all unplayed games as draws. I guess that would be Alice. Because she would have the highest. She would have 2.5. Because she beat Diana and Diana. Oh wait, no, she played all of them. She would have 2 because she lost to Tosh. Lost to Tosh, or she will have lost to Tosh if this whole thing comes to pass. We could have a 4-player chess game. That's a great suggestion, Donal. We could have a game of 4-player chess. Okay, let me think. So Alice would have 2, assuming draws, because there wouldn't be any draws. Diana would have 1.5, I guess. One and a half, yeah, because she didn't play Diana. Tosh would have he would also have 2, and Diana would have half. So actually it would become a playoff between Tosh and Alice, I think, if my math is correct, and if this is actually the rule that applies. So I think it might be a Tosh versus Alice tiebreaker. But don't take my word for it, so, you know. That would be fun, though. I mean, it would be more fun, a lot more fun, if Diana was in there for the tie. But, no idea how you're supposed to move past the middle. Maybe you can jump. Maybe you can, like, get turned around in the middle randomly.
All right.
Oh, thank you so much, Chess by Sophie. Thank you so much for the raid. We're just doing a commentary on Diana's last round of the Irish Women's Chess Championships. She is playing Dana Ferguson. Seems to be in a good position right now. She is playing white. We were also just trying to figure out some tiebreak rules. There might be a possible tiebreak between Diana, Antonina, and another Diana and Alice. So it might be a 4-way tie for first, and we're just trying to figure out who would win in such a case. I think it might we're thinking that it might result in a tiebreak match, rapid between Tosh and Alice, if that comes to pass. But you know, we can't be quite sure. We're not 100% sure about the rules, but that's what it sounded like. At least I think if I did the math correctly, at least. So yeah, we are Thank you, by the way, for the follow, Consti SG. Oh wait, actually that's not the right order. Lucy Mike 267. Thank you for the follow. Thanks so much, and yeah, thank you so much for the raid. This is indeed not Diana. Diana is playing. They are in Portlaoise, Ireland, and they're playing for the Irish Women's Championship. This is the last round, and if Diana wins, she will be at 3 out of 4, possibly tied with Alice O'Gorman and Antonina, who is Tosh Queen on Twitch, if you have ever watched her. So a bit of a distant battle between the streamers and Alice for first place. Okay, so let's just look at that game actually, real quick. I think it looks like some things happened. Okay, so Alice wanted to trade queens here. Interesting idea, saying, okay, I'm down a pawn, but I have best chances to draw this endgame without the queens, because, and I'm not sure I disagree with this, because Black would have to make something happen on the king side, which doesn't look realistic, especially with this bishop being so bad. So instead, it would probably be White who, in the long run, gets pressure against the Black king. The Black king is probably weaker here. So yeah, a queen trade might actually, you know, give some chances to hold, although it looks really bad still. I mean, your bishop doesn't get any better after the queen trade. Your pawn is still going to be backwards. This pawn is still going to be isolated at some point. A4 is going to come if you try to play something like this. You can't really even afford to play A5, because then your pawn's going to be fixed on the dark square, which would be even worse than how it is right now. So I think, yeah, this may be a better chance than she had without the queen trade. But I think this should be a pretty simple conversion for Tosh, which is what we like to see, because if Alice wins, then she would be 4 out of 4 and win the tournament outright. But we would like to see we would like to see a tiebreaker match, ideally between Diana and someone, but also we would at least like to see Diana finish on shared first, which would happen if Diana wins and Tosh wins. I don't have an ELO Dark Poison. I've actually never played an OTB game in my life. I have only played online, but maybe I'll have one soon. I was gonna play maybe one over the Christmas break. Yeah, I only took up chess quite recently. I mean, I've played for a while, but not really with any amount of seriousness. I played, yeah, I played, let's say, I've been trying to become better at chess for now close to a year maybe. Actually, once I discovered Chess Dojo Life here on Twitch, that's actually when I started to actually try to become decent at chess and not just play like with half my mind being occupied with something else and just playing chess when I'm bored or something. Could be this, including draws for unplayed games. First Antonina, second Alice, third Diana. Yeah, exactly. That's what my math came to as well. I think, well, actually you're saying how many points? I was thinking that Antonina and Alice both would finish at 2 points in that way, and Diana would have 1.5, and Diana would have 1 or half even. And actually, she would have 1 because she lost to Alice but didn't play Diana or Tosh. Yeah, that might be true, Halvard. But I don't even think we're not even thinking about that. Even if you know, even if Diana can't win the tournament anymore, it's still gonna be nice if she finishes shared first. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, this is just drawing of opponents that decided it. Like, if it had been Buchholz's score, then Tosh would have been in the worst position because she played Nandita, who finished on 0 points, and yeah, Alice just got fortunate that Diana made it to 3 points, and therefore entered the tie breaks, which is like, yeah, that's quite unlucky actually. We could think, however, like, let's say Dana wins, then I think it would be actually, let's say, just for the sake of argument. I mean, of course, we don't think Diana's going to lose, and I really don't think Diana's going to lose. And of course, we certainly don't hope she's going to lose. But for the sake of argument, I think if Dana were to win against Diana, then it would actually be a playoff between Tosh and Dana, not Alice. Alice and Diana would be out of that. So yeah, interesting. Because then Dana actually, oh wait, actually Dana lost against Alice, but she did beat. Never mind. What am I saying? That's not true. Somehow I thought Dana won against Alice, but actually she ended up losing against Alice. So I take that back. I take that back. Yeah, I mean, Diana's game looks really good. I agree. I think this is a very poor position for her opponent. I think you play probably bishop b1 here, and then maybe queen trade, and your pieces are just so much more active. I think that should be really good. Like, I think bishop b1 here, I would think. Okay, not bishop b1, queen c2. Okay, computer thinks queen c2. That actually makes same amount of sense. Just activating. What does the computer think of this? Okay, just still an advantage, just like a pawn's advantage maybe. Plus 1 point something. That would be my instinct, like immediately. I would think, okay, this endgame looks really nice. I would want to play this. Like, I have the bishop pair. I have a lead in development. Maybe, I guess, black can keep the queens on somehow. But like, this to me looks very nice. Yeah, okay, +2 is what the computer says to this. And this is maybe what I would go for. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not optimal, but I think especially against a weaker player, I think Diana is stronger than Dana. I think if you get into this type of endgame, it's unlikely that they roll the draw against the bishop pair, against the rooks that are already controlling the open files, against the development advantage. I think that would be a very good position. Like, king can walk in, and yeah, I think that would be a very good position. Go for, but okay. I mean, she has different things to do here, and Tosh against Alice. What happened here? I'm not sure exactly why she played this, because I mean, it seems like biting on granite a little bit. But okay, it'd still be much better. But I really hope that would actually be too much if Alice gets away again with a draw or even a win from a completely lost position. I guess you can't really win this position that she has. It's hard to blunder for Tosh, but no. Yeah, Diana's opponent does have a bit of an awful bishop. Generally, all her pieces don't seem... in Germany, we say the yellow from the egg. Not the greatest pieces she has there. Yeah, I personally liked bishop b1. Computer says it's not the cleanest, but I guess that's only because Blackon keeps the queens on. But let's say the queens get traded after bishop b1. I think you're in a very comfortable position as white. But okay, queen c2 also makes a ton of sense. I hope she plays quickly enough that she doesn't get into complications too short on time. It's actually fascinating to me because Diana's really not a big opening person. And then she plays something like this Queen's Gambit declined kind of setup. She gets into this because she plays c4. But she takes a lot of time for the moves. Like, considering she said, I'm just gonna get a position that's kind of equal. It wasn't really trying for an opening advantage. But she still spent a bunch of time on the opening. We're on move 15, and we're down to 33 minutes and 33 seconds, just as I say it. It's maybe, a bit interesting that she goes for such an approach. Anyway, yeah, Diana's game ended. She's officially on 3 points, which, I mean, this really throws the tournament standings for a loop. If Diana hadn't won, or hadn't gotten Brenda as an opponent, maybe if she had gotten Elizabeth, she might have had more trouble getting to 3 points. And her being on 3 points really is what gives Alice good chances in the tiebreakers. Because Alice played Diana, and that's the whole reason why she is gonna be coming out on top in the tiebreak rules in some situations, and she has good chances to get into the playoffs because of that. Kind of nice conversion there from Diana. She played on, made it eventually. Nandita lost in the end. Let's just look at this game real quick as well. Interesting opening. It's funny to me, even the openings that make so little sense to me, they still always have a name. And somebody still came up with them and named it after themselves. You always gotta play dodgy openings to get them named after you, it seems. This was actually a nice little tactic here, I thought, by Black. This queen b6 in the end, pinning the queen to the king, and white doesn't have time to take. White has to take the queen, and Black's gonna pick up and run away with the knight. It's kind of nicely done. And okay, then she resigned. And last game, just so we cover everyone's games, just really quickly. This seems interesting. Well, I don't really want to analyze it, so let's just... Anyway, like both bishops turn out on somewhat silly squares. I was thinking here white would probably be better, because they could at least do this kind of thing and put the bishop to c2 and maybe play a4. Oh, and here, okay, this is basically checkmate. So Pauly goes down in this game, so 2 top boards still remaining. The others finished their tournament. Nandita is on 0 points. I think Elizabeth is on 2. Pauly on 1. Tanmai on 2 as well, if my memory serves correctly. Brenda on 1 point and Diana on 3. So now we have Diana against Dana left and Tosh versus Alice. Okay, she does play Queen c2. Earlier in the tournament, she had a move where she played quite kind of an elegant way to go into a much better endgame, even though she had a tempo move, an aggressive move that was maybe better. At that time, she went to the endgame. Here, she probably thought, okay, I could go to the endgame with Queen, with Bishop b1, maybe be better, but decides, no, this time I'm going to go for the aggressive option. And that seems to be a good choice, I think. Okay, so our opponent decides to capture the pawn on a2. What exactly are we going to do about this? I have some ideas here. Maybe Queen g5 is an idea. Knight g5, I mean, or I don't know, maybe just develop. I mean, this is just a terrible setup still for black. I mean, you're going pawn grabbing, but like you don't have a bishop. This knight is kind of terrible. This rook isn't playing. Basically, black has no development. And white is down a pawn, but I think this queen, like if you look at the last couple of moves, this queen bounced around, this knight got bounced around, while meanwhile white was developing. Queen move, queen move, queen move, 3 in a row. And yeah, that's usually not a recipe for success in these games. So now, I hope Diana doesn't take too long, because she should have probably planned something for queen takes a2. I hope she doesn't double check too much. She is up on time still, but no reason to give up your time advantage now. And I mean, she must have calculated her stuff here. Not gonna lie, after 2 days of commentary, my chess brain is a little bit tired, so I'm not exactly sure what the best plan here is. Actually, maybe you want to go into these weak squares here with your knight. That could be a plan. Also, there's ideas of this kind of thing sometimes, but I'm not entirely sure. I think there's probably multiple plans that make some sense. for Diana here. And also, I guess, rook d1 is always a move. And knight g5 would be an idea. I would love it more. I would really like knight g5 if there was like a queen here or something, or a rook. Because then here, here, and then you can bounce back. And takes wouldn't be possible because of here. And then you would put additional pressure. So actually maybe something like rook d1, and then if her opponent plays something like this, which I mean, okay, of course you shouldn't do that. She probably wants to develop finally. Although, I mean, it's not so easy to develop cleanly here. Just hope Diana doesn't play knight e4, that'll free up the knight on d7 for black. You mean knight d4 or knight what do you mean? What do you mean, Waterford Wizard? I think knight d4 is actually maybe one of the better moves here. You, as I said, you might have ideas of coming into these squares. You have ideas of like targeting this square sometimes. Yeah, Tosh has played a clean game. Let's just look over. Blame me if I jinx her. I mean, well, no. Oh, sugar. I again clicked away from Diana's. I hope it didn't log me out. I didn't, okay. Lucky. Got lucky there. I almost closed my Twitch manager. That would have been unfortunate. But okay, I'm still here. And I can still see chat and manage the stream, which is good. Otherwise you would have had to just engage with me under my normal alias. Okay, so I didn't really like her doubling the rooks on the d file too much. I think the rook on d5 is good and just immobilizing, but I don't think necessarily your other rook needed to be on d1 too badly. I'm often around in Tosh stream as well, so I have enough reason to support her in every game outside of her one with Diana. Yeah, well, she seems like a nice person. She seems nice. Diana and her got along really well. They were sharing a room, which of course, I mean, it was a bit awkward that they played each other and Diana won, and you know, sharing a room after a chess game is always gotta be a little bit awkward, I think, if you're both trying hard and taking the tournament seriously. But okay, all worked out fine. So okay, what do we think here? What's the plan? Maybe reroute the bishop. Actually, in that case, maybe it's good. Maybe it's good that she did play like this and double the rooks. Maybe that's how her plan makes sense. That actually makes sense to me. Bishop e1 and targeting the d6 pawn from b4, and then you're gonna have to, you know, put your rooks on very awkward squares. You can run in with the king at some point. You can maybe play g3 and put your king on a good square. Yeah, a quick draw would have hurt both of them. In this event, sure, of course, yeah. In this event, it wouldn't have been great, just because of how short the tournament is. a draw would have been too bad for both of them. This would have been actually really interesting, because we would have had a very interesting tiebreak format if Diana hadn't broken into the top group. Diana Bookered on 3 points already. Yeah, so Alice and Diana right now on 3 points. If Alice loses and Tosh wins, they're all three going to be on 3 points. And if Deanna wins, then she's going to be on 3 points as well. So that would be a 4-way tie for first, which would result in... Did she play it? I don't know if she played it. Oh yeah, she did play it. Very nice. I think that's good. I think that's a logical move. It makes a ton of sense. Reroute the bishop, and if the rook tries to get counterplay, well, actually we can't really play that because we're gonna get pinned. But that's maybe something we need to be careful about. Allowing counterplay against our f pawn, not our f pawn, our g pawn. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. It's been too much commentary in the last 2 days. I have lost the ability to speak clearly and to think clearly as well, most importantly. But anyway, we'll see. Let's just go to Diana's game here. Okay, so e4. What do we make of that? e4. Okay, so target is obviously this, and we want to kick out the knight from the defense of h7. For the moment we can't do it. Queen is defending. What are we thinking? Can we play rook e1 and renew the threat? I guess that wouldn't be too optimal because I guess the queen could swing around. Although, I mean, she keeps moving her queen. I'm not sure if she was trying to trap Black's queen, but how would she ever achieve that? I mean, okay, I guess you're threatening this, but I mean, lots of moves defend against that, like even this, sure. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. So I guess Diana was thinking it's a double threat, threatening e4 and rook a1. Queen a5, e5 I mean. Queen a5 defends against both though. Now I was thinking, what happens if we play rook a1 anyway? There's not too many squares on this diagonal, but I guess it's enough because on this rank she can just move her queen here, and that would be, you know, you don't want the queen trade in this manner as white. So okay, now I would like Diana to play a little bit faster. I would like to see her play a little bit faster. She is at 22 minutes right now. Okay, knight d4 now. I think that could have been played last move as well, but okay. Still similar ideas, although again, yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like, Black's development is still absolute trash. This is not playing. Rooks aren't connected. This knight isn't really doing that much except protecting the other knight and preventing this double pawns. Really not a great. Yeah, bishop c8 is bishop on c8 is not good. Thanks for the follow, FWM. FWM. Okay. I guess that's what your name is supposed to be. Okay, so knight d4 was played. What do we think about it? I don't know. My brain doesn't really think anymore. Like, I think Black needs to do something to lash out here. I don't know. They just need to force development. Like, if you're gonna play a6 to prevent this, I think you're just giving more time. It's not gonna work out for you. Still gonna get hit with this eventually. I think you might need to do something different. I don't know. Move your knight somewhere. Move your knight somewhere where it can do let the bishop out and maybe do something useful at some point. Because if, let's say, the knight gets to do this kind of maneuver while the bishop is still on c8, then the rook, I mean, it can't even you can't even like think of giving up the exchange or something like that. It's gonna be really bad. Like, rook would have to go back. You're just going in the wrong direction. Queen e5. We're playing. Interesting. Okay. Aren't we still threatening knight b5? What's the idea? Maybe she wants something like this. Does this do anything? No, because we have... Do we have a 4? Jack. Okay, so I'm thinking this, Jack. Wait, what am I talking about? That square is defended. See, that's why I'm talking about, like, my brain is actually just fried at this point. I think I would be better served to like commentate with the engine or something, but I'm just gonna get frowned upon. But solo commentary for too long has killed my brain. So okay, yeah, knight b5, that's what I was saying. I don't think this works. I don't think this does anything because we have f4 or something like that. Where are the weak squares? Yeah, exactly. Well, the weak squares, I mean, I'm not sure if you asked that as an actual question or as a like motivating move for Diana to play. This is a weak square. It's gonna fork. Also, she can think of doing something like this and bringing the knight in here. And then maybe something like this. I mean, this looks really good. To my tired eye, it looks really like an excellent position. It must be winning, I think. So we are seemingly getting more and more likely to have. It's seemingly getting more and more likely that we're going to have. I'm not sure what we're going to have if that happens, but we're going to have 4 players, somewhat likely, finishing on 3 points. Diana Burkert, Tosh, Alice, and Diana. And that's going to be, I mean, you know, that's going to cause some confusion about tiebreak rules. to the best of my understanding, I think the likely result is if the rules of the Irish Federation for the Irish Championships also apply to the Women's Championships, that would mean that I think Tosh would play a rapid playoff, 2 rapid games against Alice. That would be the result that I would think is likely. How long have I been on? Well, I haven't been on for that long now, but I already commentated on a game this morning. And we did like an 8-hour stream yesterday. So excuse my whining. No, excuse my whining. I will be trying. Well, actually, okay, look at this. Alice Desperation plays e4. Now, what I'm thinking immediately here is I'm going to go back. I'm just going to go back to g3 because I want my bishop to keep covering the f2 square so the rook can't infiltrate. And I wanted to hit this pawn. Like, this was always the dream square. And this was always the dream square. For the bishop, because it prevents counterplay. This this rook is out in no man's land. It's going to need several moves to get into the game, like something like this. And let's say we play bishop g3. If the rook trades off, I mean, this pawn isn't fast. It's just going to be a weakness. This pawn is going to need to be defended. I think that is not a move that helps Alice in the slightest. Yeah. And yeah, it seems like everything is winning here. Am I getting paid enough for this? I wish. I am getting paid enough. I am getting paid in, you know, gratitude. And viewers, I'm getting paid in attention. I like getting paid in attention. I like getting paid attention too. I like spreading my semi-solid chess knowledge. You know, I'm just talking weird words. They're just flowing out of my mouth. I talked about this yesterday, but like, it's really strange. I'm not someone who talks a lot generally, but streaming just forces you to have this stream of consciousness thing. And I always felt before I streamed for the first time on Diana's channel, I thought, isn't it completely weird? Like, I'm just going to be talking to no one. And yeah, that's kind of how it is, but it doesn't feel that weird actually. Well, I might not. I would like to get paid in channel charms. Maybe I can organize something in that way. Yeah, Diana's definitely winning now. Actually, okay, let's go back to her game. She's been playing a nice game. Okay, queen. Wait, okay, actually I missed a couple moves here. Okay, rook move to f8. I mean, not a move you'd like to see as black. Not a move you would like to see at all. That's bad, because now you can't even move your knight anywhere, because now bishop here, and then the knight's going to come in. You can take it, but then you're going to lose the rook for free, and the knight's going to get out again. At least that's a danger. So Diana played bishop g3. Makes sense to me. She wants to force the queen away from this, so she can play e5 and open up this battery. And her opponent's like, her opponent is playing without all her pieces. So yeah, that's definitely... Okay, she plays this right away. Okay, I guess she wants to play it now and then have the bishop cemented in. Well, actually, she can't really do it just yet, so I mean, maybe maybe rook here. Rook d8, maybe knight here anyway or something. Not entirely sure. Maybe she can also, after all, think of f4. But okay, I mean, many things should be winning here, I assume. I mean, okay, rook has to go here, 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 and then can you even have a knight discovery somehow? Like, can you take here and then take the rook? I guess not, because the knight still covers. So for the moment it's okay. But I mean, it looks very unpleasant. Like if you have your rook here with the knight on d7 and this sort of configuration, and bad things are definitely happening. Bad things are most definitely happening. Also, if you can chase this queen out of this particular square, things are going to be even more loose. I mean, this is definitely completely lost for black. So yeah, Stockfish is giving Diana +7. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Stockfish trying to become a darling. Yeah, I mean, definitely lots of options here. So I guess let's go back to Tosh maybe. That game has Tosh is really cutting it close here. She's down to 4 minutes. I don't want to jinx it, you know. I do not want to jinx it. Tosh is giving me flashbacks of Dana here, you know. Tosh is giving me some anxiety, because yesterday Alice not only drew from a completely lost position, but actually won. What are you saying? Not even Diana's move. What are we saying here? What are we saying is the 16th century man? Did she play 5? Did she play something bad or something? I'm not getting any updates, at least. I just trust that she's going to win this position. Oh, sugar. She took the rook. Not a friend of that. Because now, I mean, bishop's opening up a little bit. You better, maybe now it's even better to put the bishop here. And then here. Just so she doesn't have check and push. Oh, ignore me, my hand slipped and I played e5. Nice, 16th century man. That's good. We like to see the hand slips in analysis mode. It's better than having it happen in a real game. I don't know how to do a prediction. You're gonna have to, ask some moderators, if we have any in the chat. Or can I? I don't know. Actually, I can't. Maybe I can do. You mean like a bet prediction? Does seem like going, hey Dermot, by the way, nice to have you here. Okay, I mean, I don't really care if we have a prediction or not. You can do whatever. Okay, so Tosh down to 4 minutes, 4 seconds. Alice still 36 minutes. Okay, she needs to defend this pawn. Can she defend this pawn? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe she has to push here, push, takes. And then you're actually, oh, and actually, hold on a second. Because in actuality, this pawn is defended after here, because here, don't tell me that Tosh is going to play this and take the pawn and then she's going to get pinned. That would be, you know, I wouldn't be happy about that. I wouldn't be happy if she blundered this. Diana won. Beautiful. Let's switch to her game. Now she can come in and root for Tosh together. I really almost don't want to. What are you saying, Diana won? On my screen, the game is going. I mean, Tosh is too smart for that, okay, but like, what I'm saying is, it can already be a blunder, even if she doesn't actually follow through and hangs the rook. So even if she just allows this, and this doesn't actually work, but was her plan, and now she realizes it doesn't work, I would still call that a blunder, if it's actually really bad. I can't be bothered to calculate if it's really bad. It's not really bad. Still good for Tosh. Looks like it's still winning. Still completely winning, and we're fine. Sorry, we're looking at the wrong Diana, rather. Okay, another false alarm. Another false alarm on the Diana game. Her opponent's gonna flag soon, though, if she keeps thinking. Down to 6 minutes. And yeah, I mean, this position is completely hopeless, of course, unless Diana hangs something important. Or gets, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Okay, she just gives the exchange. Maybe a decent way to play this. Because, yeah, as I said, it's just completely hopeless if you just don't do anything. But now, of course, you're going to be down in exchange. I mean, also, is it even best for Diana to take here, or does she play something else first? Actually, I'm not also sure that this was the best way to give up the exchange, but maybe it was. But I think, okay, I mean, we maybe don't even have to take on f8, but probably we can. And then, I don't know, they're not even really threatening. Well, okay, maybe we can't really prevent this, but even if we don't prevent this, we can just play f3 even. There's no dark square bishop, nothing that can really threaten on this diagonal. So even here, the bishop doesn't really do much more than it did. It's still gonna be bad. Still gonna be a bad bishop. Checkmate in 4, Celtic Charmer. What do you mean? And which game are we talking about? Are you saying Diana has checkmate in 4? And then I would tell you, I'm pretty sure she doesn't. Pretty confident she does not have checkmate in 4. If we're talking about the Alice game, okay, I almost believe that even less, because, I mean, let's look at it. Okay, so she plays this move. Not exactly. I mean, I guess she wants to maybe... I guess Alice is like praying for rook endgame. Or maybe she's like, okay, maybe she doesn't see it now that I still have this. I don't know exactly what the plan here is for Alice. She could also just move her king, realistically. I don't think she even needs to take here. She can move her king and win these pawns. I think anything should win, really, for Tosh in this position. But yeah, maybe taking is easiest. I heard some moves being made, so let's look at the Diana game. Here she took and played knight d6. Okay, so now this bishop's getting eliminated as well. That might be good technique. Okay, our opponent has something to say about it, but actually, what about taking? If rook takes, then we have b4, and this would be hanging. Actually, what about this right away? Maybe even takes, and then the bishop is sort of... actually, I guess it can go here. Okay, it's not quite trapping the bishop. But actually, you could then... No, you couldn't take here because the... I was thinking maybe you could take on f7, but the queen can actually take. And then it protects the bishop, so... Actually, also the knight is protecting the bishop. See, that's what I mean. I'm actually... My eyes are growing shut. Hey, Johnny O. Welcome to the land of the waking. Yeah, knight c8 seems stronger, I agree. I'm just thinking of some variations. But yeah, knight c8 seems stronger. And don't you have b4 here? Yeah, I think b4 and maybe her opponent resigns. Okay, actually, I'm not going to say anything about resigning because yesterday I talked about resigning and she almost blundered the game away. Okay, she plays b4. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. I guess you have to play... I mean, you don't really have anything to play. Because actually, if you take here, aren't you just getting mated? Isn't this just checkmate? Here... Ah, no, you can't take on f7. So actually, it's not quite checkmate because you can't take on f7. But, welcome to the No Sleep Club. Welcome to Goku. Yeah, okay. Do you have your celebratory Guinness ready? Well, I don't. I'm in Germany. I don't have Guinness and such nice things. Okay, so our opponent's still thinking. But she's searching for the real life resign button is I think what's happening here. Because I think you're not only, like, if you take here, you're not only losing an exchange, but also you're going to be losing this knight as well. And then this is necessary for the king to run, and then maybe you even have this, and then you pick up another knight. So actually all the pieces are falling if you take on d3. It's going to be like... Well, actually, never mind. What am I saying? Here, I guess you have knight here, which is better. But still terrible. So actually you can play knight d1, rook d1, and then you can do that. Do people play Vienna opening in Vienna? I mean, sometimes, I suppose. What do you mean? It's not forbidden to play the Vienna opening in Vienna, but it's not mandatory either. Can't watch Need More Coffee. No, Tosh is not going to lose on time. I mean, Dana is probably just busy crying or something. See, I've missed you, Donal. Maybe the chat, maybe I wouldn't have been so tired after all this if you had been here all the time. Right, anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, checking back on Tosh's game. So we took the pawn, attacking in the next pawn. What we would really like to see... Well, actually now F2 is being attacked. What we would really like to see, I mean, I guess this is good enough, but what we would really like to see is the pawns ending up on dark squares, because then, you know, it's just going to get cleaned up, and then we're going to have like a 4-on-1 on the king side. At that point, we almost don't need the rook anymore. So, yeah. Yeah, Tosh can definitely stop the pass pawns here. Because one of them is falling right now. You can't defend this one, so you would have to push it. And then you're going to lose this one. Because this is not a threat. Because you have g3. So, yeah. That's a win for Tosh. I mean, it's supposed to be a win for Tosh. I'm pretty confident. Although, I mean, I say that. Though, of course, like, rook endgames can always be weird. It's easy to blunder draws in rook endgames in time trouble. But I believe, you know? I believe in Tosh in this position. Alice does have 30 minutes, so she can think about which way is, or which is the most tricky defense she can offer. But I mean, let's say these two pawns get traded for these two pawns, which seems kind of likely. You're going to have a 4-on-1 on the queen side, and a 1-on-0 on the king side. But especially if the bishops are still on, that will not be enough counterplay for Alice. It shouldn't be, at least. How many rounds in total? 4. 4 rounds in total. This is the 4th round. The last round, a bit of a short tournament, really. This is why we're going to have a 4-way tie for first, if Diana wins and Tosh wins, which both is looking very likely. So let's go. Let's just go quickly back to Diana's game. Okay, hold on. Our opponent played this little move here. Knight g4 gets pushed away. Okay, knight e5. Our bishop's being attacked twice, but what happens if we just take this? Maybe rook takes and queen here. Attacking the queen. Have to move. Rook trade is forced, basically. Yeah, I think this should be easy. There's going to be a passed e-pawn that might give swindling chances due to Tosh being on increment. Is there going to be a passed e-pawn? Is that what's going to happen to Ukul? Are we sure about that? How do you defend the e-pawn? Like, okay, now you're just no e-pawn anymore. E-pawn. Okay, no passed e-pawn. Okay, passed f-pawn. Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Well, okay, actually I thought you had maybe this, but actually, you do though, don't you? No, you don't. Yes, you do. Hold on. I can't calculate. Check. Here. 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 Okay. Also good. Thank God this bishop is on h6 and not like on this diagonal. Otherwise that would be nasty. Or maybe be nasty. Maybe be a draw. That would maybe actually be a draw if the bishop was here. No, it wouldn't be because h4 is covered by the rook. So never mind. I don't like the look of the Tosh game. Well, I don't want to even acknowledge it. Oh, cool. Whoever thought 4 games was enough to answer all the questions about a potential champion is nuts. Well, yeah, I agree. 4 rounds is slightly short. Slightly on the short side. Okay, quickly back to the optimistic game. Diana takes. Okay, her opponent goes full desperado. I mean, actually, you take and here, and how do you defend? Oh, I guess, no, never mind. You just run your rook away, and then you run your king out. What am I talking about? See, I'm already getting scared by ghosts. Yeah, I mean, trying for some perpets, but there won't be any. Because we can just move the rook, and we can run out. No perpetuals to be had. And actually, we're going to have a nice little pawn wall to defend our king after. So no perpetuals. Diana just needs to see that there are no perpetuals. Well, actually, she doesn't even terribly, like, there's actually no terrible necessity of taking the knight. Like, even if she just plays king h1, it's still, I mean, still fine, right? So, yeah, even if you move the king, it's winning. Not actually any threat. So the good thing here is she can't mess up. She can't. Like, there's only 2 moves, and both are good. So she can't do anything wrong here. Judging by her she might think she can do something wrong. Where you could do something wrong is if you play king h1. No, even then you couldn't do anything wrong. Even then, because even if you play king h1 and let's say she plays something like this and you take and she takes, still couldn't do anything wrong because after king g1 you don't have any more checks as white because this square is covered and this square is covered. So you don't have any checks from h3. So even that, even if you try very hard to walk into a perpetual, it's still not a perpetual. Well, it's even worse than that, Johnny O, because it's not even that they played 4 games between even players. It was like fewer players, and they sort of beat each other in a circle. So Diana beat Tosh, Tosh beat Alice, Alice beat Diana, and then just the rest of the games, which they all won, will have decided the championship. So, like, basically, who got the better opponent draw will have decided the championship if Tosh actually wins, which she will. So, I say that she will win. I'm not liking where her pawns are going. Where are her pawns going? She's losing some pawns. Oh my god, it's a draw. Are you serious? God. Yeah, okay, so Tosh. I don't know how. I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know what happens in these Alice games. She's I don't know. This is quite insane actually. But this looks like, I was just about to say, like, this doesn't look so easy anymore. Isn't there a move here somehow? Isn't there a move? Yeah, there is a move. So apparently E4 is the move. Okay. Like, I don't pretend to understand this fully. I wish I had Alice's luck. I mean, this is definitely her tournament. Like, she was not doing well in game one because her opponent messed up. She was completely dead lost in game 2 against Diana. Before the game even really, like, she was in an alright position. Like, she was like in an alright position after the opening against Diana, but like definitely maybe slightly worse. And Diana just missed a tactic and then was completely dead lost again. And yeah. I mean, Diana's winning, yeah. I mean, she played King H1, which, I mean, I don't know, not necessary at all, but her opponent's probably like, ugh, come on. Really? At least show me that it's not a draw. This is probably where you can resign and be like, oh shit, my knight's on f3 now for some reason. Which, you know, that's not particularly where you want your knight to be. Hey UK Karpov, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Yeah, I mean, definitely resilient play by her, but like, her opponents are just making it very, very easy for her. Okay, so now maybe something like Queen E2, or what are we thinking of? Yeah, Queen E2, okay. Diana plays it. She's probably gonna play Queen H6. But now, I mean, you can just play F4 or whatever. Or you can take if you want to. Oh, actually, you shouldn't probably take, because then maybe discoveries. That's maybe not the best way to play. I have way bigger things to worry about, and chess is a distraction, so I guess I'm far more blunt, even if it's pessimistic. Yeah. Ugh. I can't believe that this is happening again. It actually just shouldn't be happening. But I just want to look at the engine in this game. I'm not gonna analyze this by hand. I mean, okay. You're still gonna be up a pawn in the bishop endgame, but like, that's probably not enough to win. Actually, no, okay, you can't take this because then it is enough to win. It is enough to win. So actually only move King E6. I mean, okay. You're getting out of this check trade. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, I mean, sure, Goku, I just didn't want to believe in it, you know? I didn't want to believe in it. This is actually ridiculous. It's not supposed to happen like this. You're not supposed to win a tournament being lost every single game, like, and then somehow your opponent's giving you a win or a draw. That doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem quite right. But yeah, I mean, she made it tricky. She made it tricky, and yeah, Queen h6. Okay. I mean, yeah, doesn't really matter what she does here. Too many good moves. Okay, I mean, here I'm actually like, yeah, this is not losable. It's too many pieces. It's an extra rook, initiative. This is gonna be a win for Diana. So I think we can just go to this Tosh Queen game. Tosh is winning if Alice plays anything other than King e6. And if Alice plays King e6, she's not winning. So, yeah. So there. I guess, yeah, King e6 is played, of course. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's too bad. You can't even play takes because you're going to lose your bishop. Yeah. Not cool. Not cool. Just no. How about Alice play King f5, please? How about this? How about this little move? Wouldn't that be nice? But okay, not gonna happen. Alice is probably gonna make a draw. Meanwhile, Diana won. And Alice looks like she's gonna win the tournament, and Diana in second. Diana in second. Before Diana on tiebreaks, I guess. So Alice first, Diana second, Diana third. 3.5, 3-3. Tosh on 2.5. And Dana on 2. Yeah, I mean, this is it's actually a bit ridiculous that this worked. Sorry. Okay, so Diana won. Nice game. Pretty much better all the time. Since this weird, like even since this weird d6 move in the opening. Yeah, okay, and here we're gonna have to see if Tosh can do anything. I mean, she is still up a pawn. She is still up a pawn, okay, so it's not like as dead drawn as it could be. Could be worse, is what I'm saying. Okay, I guess we're gonna play King G3. And actually then, actually, you can't defend this pawn, can you? Yeah, that's just sad. She should have played bishop b4, I guess, and then she would have had c4, but yeah, this way you don't have any check. You don't have any way to attack. I mean, okay, you're attacking this pawn, but this pawn is not the one you want. Like, you don't want to trade pawns here if you want to win. This passed pawn alone, very unlikely. let's say that even no, I guess you can't really trade off pawns, but like rook and bishop versus rook, theoretically still a draw. So somehow, some way, maybe you could get into that endgame, although it seems very unlikely in this one. Well, anyway, we can be happy Diana won. So she locked up second place, I assume. So on tie breaks, she should be second. Well done, Diana. That was a really nice game as well. Really, really nice game. Pretty clean. Her opponent gave her an opening and she just took it and ran with it the whole way. So yeah, I like how she played this. Calm opening choice pays off. Just simply, yeah, simply playing normal chess moves. Okay, so her opponent didn't play rook c2, which is interesting. Why didn't she do that? I wonder, I guess she didn't need to yet. Also, I guess you're threatening this, so he wants this pawn here. Which is actually, if you think about it, that's very clean technique. Because this is the wrong color. This is the right color pawn, and this is the wrong color pawn. So if you look for endgame theory, in this position, this pawn would be stronger than this one, just because of the two bishops being on the board. So if you ever ended up with only this pawn against this pawn, this bishop, this pawn and this bishop against nothing, the king could not hide in this corner, but it could hide in this corner. So winning this pawn gives you some additional endgame resources, which is nice. Clean technique by Alice there. So yeah, that is unfortunately, I mean, yeah, unfortunately gonna be bad for the tournament, because the tournament is going to have a winner, no playoffs. Would have been nice. Also, we weren't sure if Diana would make the playoffs. I guess we thought it was unlikely based on the rules as we understood them. But still, I mean, could have been a thing. It could have been a thing. No, it's definitely not a thing. Well, okay, I see, definitely not. I mean, this is still not unwinnable. Okay, Diana's in the chat. Well played, Diana. Well done. Nice game. Very nice. Good job. Well done. Yes. Second place locked up. Unfortunately, it looks like Alice is somehow going to hold this. I mean, I don't know if you were following the game, but she was again like completely lost, dead lost. Yeah, it could be a four-way tie, and we were thinking in the four-way tie it would be Tosh and Alice that would have to play a playoff based on the rules as we understood them. But yeah, it would have been nice to finish tied, I guess. As it is, it will be. I mean, it's looking likely, I guess, that yeah, Tosh was low on time, but she spent so much time in that end game. She spent so much time before. Yeah, and now, I mean, you're gonna be up a pawn still, but not for very long. Wouldn't it be funny if she lost this one as well? Somehow, just because of Alice magic. where she just gets people to go crazy against her. Lose the ability to see chess moves. Yeah, I mean this is not going to be won if Alice doesn't mess up. Yeah, I mean, you can even just probably blockade or something. Rook a4 looks decent. And I mean, white would have to somehow defend this pawn and this pawn while trying. I mean, I don't even know. I can't even imagine a situation where. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, good play. Glad you could finish it on a high note, which is nice. It was a nice attack. And I mean, okay, not winning outright that's okay. Got a bit unfortunate in that other game against Alice. It happens, but you played well. And not to say that Alice won't still mess this up. Also, we were thinking that if you had lost and Tosh had won, I think Tosh would have won outright maybe, because she would have had a head-to-head against Alice. So, hey Anit, how are you doing? I mean, it's not over anyway, so maybe miracles can happen. Maybe Tosh does win this position, and then it's a tie, 4-way tie with I don't know what happens then. Probably a playoff, but still. Also, was there a single draw in this game? In this tournament? I don't think there was. I don't think there was a single draw in 40 in 20 games, which is impressive. Fighting chess the Irish way. No draws. Anyway. Yeah, I guess we're gonna finish this game here, or we're gonna finish watching. We're gonna finish watching this game here real quick. Or you guys want to end the stream? I don't really think we necessarily need to keep watching this until the end, but I mean, as you guys want, I'll finish it for you if you want. I think there's really no chance that Alice messes this up, really. We'd have to lose a pawn somehow, but it's hard to imagine how that could work. I mean, actually the only thing, you could maybe get your bishop pinned or something, and then if white can force piece trades, that would be a way to win, I guess. But I don't see anything else other than like trading off rooks and maybe Maybe then you can do something. But maybe even then you can't. I don't know. Sorry, I'm multitasking, which is not something I'm particularly known for. I hope she sees the mate threat. Who's being mate threaded? Oh yeah. That would be, I mean, it's, yeah, that would be a bit typical for this event if Alice were to win this game by mate in one. That's missed. This might get into rook and bishop versus rook. I don't think so, however. How would it get into that? Do you think she can force rook and bishop versus rook here? I mean, if she does, then I think she has decent chances of winning, maybe, because rook and bishop versus rook is not so easy to defend. Although, I guess if you don't know how to attack properly, it's also not so easy to attack. Yeah, I can imagine. It's definitely tough. 30 seconds per move, basically. We might be able to get the h-pawn. Really. I mean, okay, maybe. Tosh is definitely gonna try. She's definitely gonna try. As I was saying earlier, I think what the regulations would say to that is that there would be a playoff between Tosh and Alice, because the rules, Lemprokos found them earlier, I think. It was Lemprokos, I think, yeah. The rule was, I can read it out for a second. If step 2A does not determine a champion, there shall be a playoff 2-game rapid match between the two players, even if one of these players won the individual game between them, who achieved the highest scores in games amongst the tied players, counting all unplayed games as draws. Which means that the tied players would be Alice, Tosh, Diana, and Diana. And Alice beat Diana and Diana, so she would have 2.5 out of 3 possible. Actually, no, she would have 2 out of 3 because she lost to Tosh. She played all of the games. Tosh would have a loss against Diana, a win against Alice, and not played against Diana, which gives her 1.5 points. Diana will have 1 against Tosh, lost against Alice, and not played against Diana. Actually, she would also have 1.5 points. Am I right about that? Actually, my brain can't do this anymore. So maybe... Anyway, like, Diana would be last, and Diana and Tosh would maybe be second and third in that ranking. So either Alice would then win outright, or they would have to play... I don't know. I don't know. But it might... Diana actually might have some chances. Earlier, I thought I calculated it, and it ended up differently. But maybe. Oh, did she lose? Did she lose, Alice? Okay, there we go. There we go. Did she lose? That would be funny. Wait, why did she trade rooks? No, she didn't. She didn't lose. What are we talking about? She's okay. Is she? Yeah, she's okay. Never mind. I got excited by chat. This is okay still, isn't it? Because, I mean... Isn't this just okay? Maybe. I don't know. Isn't this the wrong color? Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, the engine might say a lot of things, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, engine says +4, but I think the I think the engine is wrong. I mean, I was like, you guys scared me there for a second. I was like, what? Did she lose? But no, she did not. Okay, let me just quickly look at the moves here. What happened? Oh, so she traded voluntarily. I mean, that's a bit of a weird decision by Tosh there, because she doesn't have an engine that misleads her, so bit odd. Bit odd. Yeah. I guess maybe Tosh thought she could somehow manage not to lose the pawn, but yeah, maybe she missed that the king is blocking the pawn from running away from the bishop. Like, if you keep the pawn on h5, then maybe there's something you can do, because then, I mean, yeah, then the king would need to come over, and that would be then that would be not so good. Okay, draw agreed. Okay, congratulations to Alice in that case. Alice O'Gorman wins the I don't know how manyth, I don't know which edition of the Irish Women's Championship, but anyway, the Irish Women's Championship 2021. Alice wins, Diana second, on tie breaks, I guess. Diana in third, Tosh in fourth, with Dana on 2 points. Okay, so that's it. Gonkalo, Alice is not allowed to be your new chess hero. No, we can't accept this. We can't accept that. Sorry, that's not allowed. It's not allowed. You're gonna get Darlingified. Anyway, so Alice wins the tournament, clearly on points, half a point ahead of Diana and Diana on 3 each. Hope you don't get banned. You never know with Diana in the chat. She's lurking around, and she has the mod power, so yeah, I mean, Alice definitely got incredibly lucky in this tournament. I mean, you say that chess isn't a game of luck, but actually this tournament sort of proves otherwise. She was not doing so well against Diana. She wasn't doing well against, she was losing against Dana, completely losing. She was completely losing against Tosh as well. But okay, what can we do? Diana's name, or Diana's name, wasn't Irish enough. Perhaps next year she'll win easily if she switches to McMurza or O'Mirza. Okay, O'Mirza, I like O'Mirza. O'Mirza. Maybe we can add an OH, like O'Mirza. Anyway, that's it for the stream, I think. Does anybody have any place they would like to raid? I don't really have an opinion for myself, so I'll just take any suggestions, I think. Oh no, this is the wrong app to do this in. Okay. Does anybody have any chess? Is this a chess streamer? Go cool. Please, let's take a chess streamer. Not a Formula 1 streamer. If we could. That would be nice. Any chess streamers we can. Okay, that is a chess streamer. Brilliant. So we're going to Alberto Romero. Great. I'll just host them, or raid, or whatever we call that thing. I'll only make Diana raid F1 streamers, not you, don't worry. Okay, well, thanks for that. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks for supporting Diana in the tournament. Thanks for, supporting us. We really appreciate that. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for all the follows. Hey, Pip and Chuck. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for the mods, Go Cool, Constantino, Dermot, of course, always. And who else was in there? Anit was in there for a second. Cutford. Okay, so that's it. I think it's all the people I can think of. And congratulations for Diana for coming in second. Very close games. Got a little bit unlucky there. Could have won it, but okay. Next year, and maybe we'll see her back again then. Probably no stream the next couple of days. Diana's going to Birmingham, but I mean, I guess she can tell you that herself. So yeah, goodbye, and see you another time.